Hello, this is the Awkward GM Corbin. Today, bringing you They Came From Classified Beginner's Guide. This is going to be the character creation portion of the video. If you want to catch the full video of going over the lore and stuff of the game, you can check that out in probably the YouTube or in the back catalog of Onyx Path's videos here on Twitch. Just before we get started, I also want to say, hey, if you wanted to check out the At the Gates backer kit, it's still going strong. And if I check out At the Gates right now, it'll probably say that they are currently at double what their goal was. Congratulations to them. It is awesome to see. I'm really excited. The manuscript stuff has been coming out for that. So if you are into spies but also into JRPG stuff, you can check that out. Additionally, double checking what we got going on here. Onyx Path Weekend is going to be coming up in June 14th. A lot of announcements. I think going to be happening over there. There's Curseborn stuff officially on the schedule. And hopefully I am not getting thrown off of the stream because of any videos that I may have done on my YouTube channel. In any case, They Came From Classified is one of my favorite They Came From series supplements. I guess it's standalone that we've got here. Basically, a rundown of They Came From Classified is think of your 1960s, 70s James Bond type movies and lean into the tropes a lot more and have a lot of fun with it. Know that you're going to be having a good time with They Came From and just relax, have fun. For me, I need to do that a lot more when it comes to these games. I did do my own actual play of a one shot, and that one was the hotel lobby, I believe. It was a very good version of Classified, and I was able to throw in my own tropes, such as people coming down through air vents and etc. In any case, going into the character creation, we have the character creation sheet right here, character sheet. Player name, Corbin, obviously. Concept, I really liked, and I'm going to steal Hiromi's character from my actual play, the Them Fatale. It is a femme fatale, except non-binary. So you can be that character if you wish in this game. It is very much whatever you want to do with it, just to have fun and be kooky with it. And I say be kooky with it, but it's look at the artwork. Just you can feel the aesthetic. If you ever played the game Time Splitters back in the 2000s or aughts, I think. No, it was 2000s. They had a lot of these like crazy characters. Oh man, now I'm going down on that. But basically, it's your Austin Powers making fun of spies, but also stuff like the Avengers, where it just leaned into the camp a lot. And that's something I can say about They Came From. If you like camp, you'll love They Came From. As it could be a palate cleanser, it could be something you just want to have for like not one shot, but like a one shot campaign where you do like a different game a month and then immediately go into something like They Came From the Cyclops' cave and get the same like camp feel, but the with a different aesthetic. You can go sword and sorcery with that. You can go spy with Classified. You can go horror movie with They Came From Beyond the Grave or Camp Murder Lake if you like the slasher movies, and then Beneath the Sea if you like those like 1950s schlocky sci-fi movies. I definitely might have missed something. Um, they came from Anthology, still has to come out. for me to start talking about the things like they came from the Dragons tournament or something. I forget which one it was, but that one I'm excited for those. They're like bite-sized uh, campaign settings for they came from where you can play a variety of different types of characters. In any case, character creation, it's a very simple step-by-step process, which I always like a character creation at a glance. And it can make character creation very quick and easy to do. So sometimes I get these done and we go into a lot of the other stuff. If people want, I can check out stuff in the director's chair for GMs or story guides here. In any case, step one, you come up with your concept. Concept has already come up. I am a them fatale. Step two, you choose your paths. Origin path, assign 4 related skill. Archetype path, and assign. So assign 4 related skills for each of your paths. You have archetype, origin, and cover path. And then you get 3 skill dots to your archetype path, 3 skill dots to your origin path. This is interesting. This is a little bit different than I'm used to. So if I say, oh nope, it's exactly what I think. It's just said in a different way. Okay, so you get 9 skill dots across 12 different skills, and then you get 6 more. Okay, so them fatale. Let's look at the origins. The paths that I can choose. Provocateur is the first one that came to mind. There is the adventurer, the detective, the operative, the provocateur, and the quartermaster. This one give me Q vibes. This one, very unique. I can't think of anything that looks like it. This one, that is definitely John Steed from the Avengers to me. This one looks, these are all my opinions. This one has the very stance of Emma Peel from the Avengers, and this detective just looks like any gritty detective. In any case, provocateur is where I'm going. Sorry for the rambling. I am an awkward GM after all, and I'm bad at making characters. I say that, and yet I still wind up creating powerful ones. Oh, thank you, Darth Chaos 15, for telling me to hydrate. It is a very hot day here in wonderful Boston. I hope you're having fun. And thank you for listening. I feel there's a YouTuber called Josh Strife Hayes who says he makes the best second screen content. And I feel like some of the stuff I make here is second screen content as well. So, in any case, I've chosen the provocateur. I get the skills. I get access to the skills of command, empathy, larceny, and persuasion. So I just put that here for my archetype. So A. So command, larceny, empathy. That's that one. And persuasion. I get access to them so I can purchase them later, but continuing on to the other paths that we have the origin path. As a them fatale, a non-binary femme fatale, I like that there are a lot of different origin paths we can have. An old hand means that you've been with the company for a long time. The service or the mysterious organization you work for, born for this, you're a fresh recruit, and even now you're considered an agent's agent. Don't know what that means, an agent's agent. You have a defector, so you came from the enemies. That one would be a good one for them fatale. Like femme fatale, them fatale. They're very much akin to someone who would be trying to be seducing the enemy or the hero. So coming from the villain side of things would be interesting, though I'm not sure if I want to do that one. The greater mystery, there's a question burning within you, and even when you're schmoozing behind enemy lines and showing off your flawless firearm precision, it consumes your waking hour. It could concern those closest to you, like the whereabouts of a friend after a bad encounter with a foreign national. Could be the question about the world around you, like an obscure origin or a powerful alloy that your enemies are sworn to steal. That's an interesting one. That's a very so I think the greater mystery is always one that is fun to use just because it adds a lot to the GM to set things up. So I'm going to put that in here as my origin. The greater mystery, maybe my character has amnesia and is trying to uncover what happened in that month that they lost or something like that. Skills I get: aim, command, enigmas, and persuasion. And this is my origin. So aim, command, enigmas, and persuasion. And then we do have the cover paths. Cover paths detail your character's cover, career, or an occupation that justifies why they're walking around in restricted areas or eavesdropping on an important meeting. Okay. Oh, Darth Chaos 15. I am having as much fun as I can be given my current predicament. I hope your current predicament isn't too bad, and if it is bad, I hope it gets well soon. I do appreciate you being here. So I hope that helps in some regard. We've got the athlete, the actor, the consultant, the diplomat, the journalist, the scientist, the student. All of these seem to be pretty standard occupations. I feel like if I went into another game, I could probably steal some occupations from there, but I'm not going to do that because that would be cheating. I definitely think actor works really well for a them fatale, but maybe too well. Might be like, of course, the actor is the one who's a provocateur, who's whittling away at the walls of someone's social hit points, which isn't a thing in here, I think. But it's my stream right now, so I'll say something like that. But in any case, a consultant seems like a perfectly fine one. As a paid expert on many topics, your cover is immensely flexible. You work both in private and public sector, and you're always got an answer as to why you're there. Very good for someone who's going to try to get into places. Infiltrator type. If you're familiar with the TV show Leverage, Sophie is a good character for this because basically what you're a grifter. You're someone in a high enough or a position of like knowledge that people trust, and so you can say anything without people getting suspicious. So we have culture, enigmas, humanities, and technology. Humanities, technology. I think it was humanities, technology. Yeah. Yep. So now we have 3 that we can put across our origin, our archetype, and our cover. Well, 9 in total, but 3 across each one. So I don't have many combat skills, so I'm going to immediately put 2 dots into aim. That'll give me at least something to work with to start. I have 1 more dot for my origin, which can give me either close combat or persuasion or enigmas. I'm going to put 1 dot into persuasion because yeah, I want to be good at actually like persuading people. So that is our origin done. We have the ace, also our archetype. A is our persuasion, so I'm going to up that to 3. So that's 2 we've spent from that, and we have 1 more for our archetype, which we could put into larceny, empathy, or command. Empathy is a good one to have. You want to be able to tell if someone's lying to you. From there, we have the 3 dots into our cover. So enigmas is puzzle solving, humanity, technology, culture. You know what? I'm just going to put 3 dots into enigmas right away. I want to have a strongly built character in the persuading and the puzzle solving aspect. As far as characters go, I think in Story Path and Story Path Ultra, having at least 3 dots in a skill is pretty potent. Especially because your attributes can get pretty high early on. So now we have our 9 dots of skills put in. We have 6 extra ones that we can spread out across whatever we want. I'm just going to put an extra dot in Persuasion. I'm going to put an extra dot into Aim, so I have 4 dots left. I'll put 2 into Larceny, because I always like picking pockets, and I have 2 more. I could put them into Pilot and Larceny, because I feel like a getaway van would be a good thing to have, or a getaway car. Or Integrity, because you do need to resist being checked when you're lying. I might put one dot into Integrity and 1 dot into Pilot. That seems about right. And that's it for the skills. So if you go back up to the top here at Character Creation at Glance, we've already done our skills. We're at step 4, which is our attributes. Attributes start with a single free dot. You assign your your primary, secondary, tertiary attribute dots. Similar to any story path system, you have 6 primary attribute area, 4 for secondary, and 2 for tertiary. Choose a favorite approach and assign 1 dot to all the attributes assigned to them. And then you get a free dot at the end. Sorry, I think I misspoke earlier. Each attribute starts with a single free dot. That way, there's no such thing as a 0 in an attribute. That's the other thing this game does different than other, like the precursor to the story path system. It doesn't have a minus if you're not skilled in something, as far as I know. Okay, so if I'm going to do my primary, it's going to be my social stats, which it doesn't say here, but the 3rd column is your social stats, your presence, manipulation, composure. I'm going to put 3 dots into presence, 3 dots into... No, I'll do 2 dots into manipulation, 1 dot into composure. I then have my secondary, which I think I'm going to put into my mental stats, which is 4 dots. I'm going to put 2 into cunning, and then 1 into resolve and 1 into intellect. So that's 4 dots in total there. And then for my tertiary, I'm just going to put 2 into dex. I'm going to min-max this character. But you may be saying to yourself, man, those attributes look a little bit skewed. It looks a little bit low. Well, I'm going to take my favorite attribute as finesse, which I don't know what I'm supposed to put there, but I'll put a little dot there. And what that tells me is that I get 1 extra dot in every attribute at this column. So I'm going to get 1 extra dot in cunning, 1 extra dot in dexterity, and 1 extra dot in manipulation. And now my character has min-max stats, which I wasn't planning on. You know, it's and if I remember correctly, if I remember character creation in other game system, it's 654. And if I'm right, I had 654 is 15 dots, and I have 7. I have only one extra dot, I think, compared to that. I have 8 plus 9, so I have 17. Okay, so I have two extra dots. I have 1 spare dot to throw around. I'm gonna up my intellect by 1, so I have intellect of 3. I don't think I'm doing character creation wrong. In any case, we have our attributes set up now. We go to the next step. Trademarks. Assign 2 archetype-related trademarks, 1 origin-related trademark, and 1 cover-related trademark linked to the attribute or path-related skill. Okay, so let's just look at trademarks for a second, because I do feel like I kind of skimmed over them last time, and people might have forgotten. Where are trademarks located? Where are the rules for it? Skills and trademarks. There we go. Rolling down. Oh, I think I went too far. Skills and trademarks. Every path is tied to 4 skills, which is set upon. If you're not sure, blah, 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 multiple trademarks are associated with each and every path. These trademarks usually link to skills, but can be also linked to attributes, if appropriate. Players and directors can pull from listed examples throughout the book or collaboratively do their own. What do trademarks actually do? I feel like I skipped trademarks already, like the rules are probably at the front of the book. Okay. I apologize for this. I always forget how trademarks work because they're a key component of They Came From, but they're not a key component of other game lines. You know what? The glossary was invented for this specific thing. Oh, your trademarks carry a potent advantage you can seize with your extra successes. With directorial control, you can alter a story, adding and subtracting details from a scene. Oh, no, that's just telling me that it enhances the trademark. And while I'm getting too into the weeds, I'm just going to double check that no one is currently yelling in chat. This is where trademarks are, you idiot. This is the other thing that They Came From does that the other games don't, is you can actually print out these cards so that you can just reference everything on hand and shuffle decks and such. Okay, 72 and 73 is where trademarks are talked about. I was just there. Okay. I believe trademarks are... Okay. Path creation, concepts, trademarks. What your character's signature move. Trademarks are a character's specialized actions tied to a skill or attribute. When a character uses a skill or attribute in a way that reflects the trademark, you gain 2 additional dice to the action's roll. If the roll is successful, you gain directorial control over the scene. Then, when the director grants you directorial control, you can use it at any point until the end of the scene. As long as your character acts in the way that fits with the trademark, you gain additional dice and a chance at directorial control. A character can only invoke a trademark once per story. You begin with 4 trademarks, 1 for your origin path, 1 for your trademark from your cover path, and 2 from the archetype. So let's look at the archetypes, or let's look at the origin path first. So we did the Greater Mystery, a suspicious mind, loaded words, no coincidence, coincidences, one step behind. Let's look at loaded words. So I think, if I'm right, suspicious. Okay, so if I remember correctly, trademarks aren't actual abilities. There's stuff that you can do that is your trademark move. So once you say it, or like if you say something like there are never any coincidences or there are no coincidences, that would invoke your trademark. You make your roll, and now you have directorial control. I like a suspicious mind. I like loaded words. No coincidences. I feel like I can use a lot more, so I'll put that there. So that's one of my trademarks. We have cover paths. So the consultant, keeping it simple, nothing I can't handle. There's your problem, uncompromising vision. Nothing I can handle is a very easy one, I feel like. And then we've got our archetypal abilities. So if I go back to the provocateur, uh, trademarks. Oh, it has to be it's associated with skills and attributes. So I have taken persuasion, and I have presence as an attribute. I don't have anything dot wise in man though. Do I need that for the to be able to take it? Link each path trademark to whichever skill or attribute seems appropriate. Okay, so it has to be linked to one. So provocateur, I've tailored the stunning visage is going to be attached to my presence. Nothing I can't handle is going to be tied to my enigmas. And there are no coincidences would work better with enigmas. Let's put that as enigmas. And we'll put my persuasion at nothing I can. And then I am the Red Sparrow. I have a keen eye for puzzle pieces. My mind has a price seems like it would be pretty good. Philanthropy is how I give back. My mind has a price. I think I want because it'll give me a bonus to my integrity, which is pretty low at the moment. That way, at the least, I have something that gives me a bonus in that regard. Because otherwise, if I'm like rolling composure plus integrity, I'm only rolling 3 dice. Okay, so character creation at a glance. Assign 3 connections, one for each path. You do assign intensity ratings to each member of your agency party, which we don't have characters here, so I can't really do that. To a location, group, or piece of equipment. Okay. So that's for my connections. As a provocateur, I have a connection with an information broker. And I type. Oh, I don't have a dot. I just get it. Okay. The greater mystery. Um, I have memory loss. I have a hypnotist. Trying to recover those lost memories. And as a consultant, I have a travel agency I use. and I can use it to fake my own location if I want, because I just say, hey, I need a ticket for this place, put me on there. Oh, and make sure that they mark off that I'm already there so that I don't have to wait in line. Speed things up. Going from there, we have our our tropes and our quips. Pick 2 tropes from an archetype list and 1 from the remaining 4 archetype lists, and 2 quips. Choose 2 quips and randomly draw a third. Now, I do have to preface this by saying that I can't. I will randomly draw a third, but I am going to be rolling dice for it because I do not have the cards printed out. But why don't you have the plots printed out, the quips printed out, Corbin? Well, I don't have a lot of paper I can print use to print out stuff right now. Okay, 3 dice, and I will roll on the. Actually, I'll roll a d5. So actually, I do own a d5. That is a 5-sided die. That is actually a d20 that has 5 faces on it. 1 through 5 repeating. That'll be the archetypes. So 5, the random archetype I have picked is Quartermaster. So now I roll 3 dice because it's a 30 table, and I got a 13. No, a 16. 16. So 16 on the Quartermaster is you don't know what you're doing. That is a classic line. Very tropey. And then Provocateur, I get to choose 2. There's no need to get ugly. Did you bring protection? Belladonna, a beautiful woman in Italian, but a deadly poison in English. I like that one. That one's a fun line. I don't know if I'll ever be able to use it, but just having a fun line is nice to have. And the best thing about Boy Scouts is they know they're not. Oh god. Some of these I can like Matthew's never met me. I've never met Matthew, but I can feel his fingers touching all of this. The humor just says Dawkins. In any case, I do like the one that said, that's my safe word. It is very reminiscent of Spaceballs, where the password is this passcode to get into the air shield is the same passcode as a guy's luggage. Okay, so that's the quips done. The trademarks are where the actual abilities come from, if I remember. Not trademarks, tropes are where the actual abilities come up. So I got to pick 2 tropes from my archetype. Animalia. You've bonded with a creature from one of the myriad of biomes around the world. Doesn't sound like a them fatale thing. Auctions and galas. Once per story, host an auction or party in an illustrious location. Choose 1 item for bidding or on display, and the director chooses 2 more. Use the scene to discover clues, swap real items for microchip decoys, run the price up to see who sweats, and catch otherwise unavailable baddies in a public venue. I like that one a lot. I'll take that one. Another game to check out if you like the idea of they came from Classified is I think it's Evil Genius, the video game. That's like playing in this type of scenario. The art style is really funky, just like this game. Um, the bigger fish. Detective boasts. Wait a minute, am I in the wrong thing now? No, I'm in the provocateur. Detectives boast gifts in interrogation and conversion of lacking henchmen who don't know any better than to swap sides at first sight. But that's small time to you. Your forte is in turning the head of the snake. Once per story, convince a villainous mastermind to adjust their plans. You can't make them cancel their plans entirely, but you can make them target a different city with the heat ray. Bigger fish does sound fine. Come closer. Once per story, you may involuntarily bump into a nearby character, enter their personal space, and swipe something from their body, such as a keycard, identification lanyard, floppy disk, something semi-critical necessity. Come closer is fun. But then I've used up all my tropes for this character. Master of Disguise is always fun. Spark. Unfortunate losses. Hand in every pot. I think I'm good. I think I've got the good stuff to have. How many more tropes do I get? I get 4 and 1 trope from any of the 4 remaining. So let's go with operative because that'll give me a hour probably. Sorry about the text message. Sometimes it happens. Oh, a signature drink. You may decide to drink or bite a food, or a bite of food is poisoned with a non-lethal sedative, then consume it willingly. You wake up in an appropriate prison to overhear the guards carelessly spill information related to the mission. The gun. Either way, you have a signature weapon. You may smuggle it into otherwise forbidding space shuttles, guarded parties, or volcanic lairs with ease. You may declare that the weapon is a phony version that will jam, spew a comical spray confetti, otherwise fail when fired. Sometimes it's better to allow the villains thugs to disarm you. I think the gun works for me. License of licenses. License to garner licenses. The agent assure you that you'd be a James of all trade, and now you always seem to have whatever it takes to get out of a jam. Once per story, you can swap your current trademark with any other operative trademark. Oh, that would have been nice. Big Red Phone is always a classic. But no, I'm going to take the gun. I want to make sure that people aren't using my weapon against me. Favorite stunts. I don't think I get access to stunts. I always make a mistake with this. So final touches. We have the tropes. I did the tropes. I did the quips. I did the tweaks. And if I look up stunts, there should be no reason for me to get stunts. I think I always mix up Scion rules with the they came from in Trinity rules. So you can only get stunts, if I remember correctly, if you have a skill associated with it that's above 3. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Excuse me. The 5 character questions. Of course, not everyone wants to jump in with a character full of murky unknowns, and no one wants to feel like they must approach the table with improvised novel. These 5 broad questions serve as happy medium, providing a solid foundation for the rest of the game to be built on. Now, for me, I always go with 3 NPCs and why they're important to you, but I do like these types of questions. The basics. What's your full name? What names do you use on the job? And what city or state or country were you born? And what's your heritage? How old? I'll say I don't have that stuff listed here, but let's say the character's name is the them fatale. I need a really cool non-binary name. I mean, Sky is probably perfectly reasonable one. I've known many male and female Skies, and it reminds me of Alex as far as gendered names go, as genderless names go. Um, names that they use on the job, I think, as far as like a code name goes, they'll go with something like, ooh, I mean, you go with flow. I guess I can't say river. River is too current. No, not cool enough. Coming up with a character name is always hard. Let's just leave it at Sky for the moment. History. Who are your parents, siblings, childhood, friends? What was your social class? Let's have social class be low low class but with a high class upbringing. So maybe like went to a school that they weren't originally supposed to be in, but like there was a grant or something for underprivileged kids to go to the school. Current events. Did you receive an education? Do you have a criminal record? What do you like to do when you're not saving the world? Children, religious belief, political associations. Oh, card carrying member of the Socialist Party. No, card membering carrier of, I mean, non political, but patriot, let's say American, US American, but not like blind patriot, like willing to question who's in charge. Grayscale, where do you think you fall on line between good and evil? Where do you actually fall? Where do you lie on the spectrum between the ends justify the means and the means justify the ends? What are your hopes and fears, loves and losses? Probably has a bunch of X's through spine. They are a them fatale at all, a them fatale to say the least. So they're going to be breaking hearts left and right. Classified information. When did you become a spy? Did you choose the trade or choose the trade by choice? If you don't rely on your cover, what do you tell people that you do when they ask? How do you feel about your agency? What's your favorite cocktail? Manhattan or old fashioned? Ah, man. I like to dance too, after a fashion, after an old fashion. Very old Groucho Marx joke. Apologies. I am I am definitely going to have my them fatale be someone who has taken up the trade through convenience. Probably they are part of. They are a consultant, so I would say having been a consultant that they have a lot of expertise with like corporate espionage, and that sort of blew up into actual espionage. From there, we have no more on the character creation side of things, though I don't go over equipment enough. So let's do equipment. Let's see what we got here. Equipment, stunts. There's got to be an equipment section. There's always an equipment section. Okay. Equipment is on page. A lot of different pages. 22, 23, 222. This might be one of those games where equipment is created on the fly. Yeah, these are like locations. You get a lot of cool equipment in these types of games, though. You have weapon list. Here we go. As a them fatale, I need to have stun charges. No, man, different weapon bullet types. My signature weapon has got to be a gun. We have a lot of the ranges. We have something that I didn't mention before. If you like Trinity Continuum, Trinity Continuum Adventure is now on StoryPath Nexus, so you can create your own versions of that. It might not be up today. It'll be up tomorrow. At least that's what the Monday meeting notes said. I was just looking at the equipment stuff. Where was it? There we go. We have close combat weapons and range weapons. So I guess if we're doing a ranged weapon, we're gonna have to go with the stun charge because non-lethal takedowns are what are pretty potent. I don't see anything for armor. You won't last long. Armor protects you from harm, granting enhancements to shrug off damage under the appropriate circumstances. A bulletproof vest gives +1 enhancement against damage from firearm, but it won't help against fire. The director determines the level of enhancement and whether a piece of armor protects against a certain form of harm. Interesting. There's gotta be a gadget list. Come on, where's my laser watch? Part of it, I believe, is also that like you can sort of fiat the gadget that you have if you're a certain type of character. Yeah, that was it. Okay, we're at the end of this, but I do feel like I would be remiss if I didn't say all the cool things that we have access to as part of being a story guide for this game. So if you're a story guide, you can go over to the director's chair. Talks about the various different themes that you can cover. It does talk about the disabilities and masterminds, where there was the trope of having your mastermind having a specific disability back in the day, and it's kind of gone out of phase now because it's very problematic now because it's basically saying like, oh, this person is hyper competent and they have a disability, you should be afraid. It's good to be mindful of those tropes. A lot of people are realizing how harmful they can be to people who actually do have that disability. It's the type of thing like you see someone with a scar across their face, you want to associate them with something that is not a supervillain. Just in your daily life, it works out well for if you're in social circles to treat everyone as a person and not as a stereotype. We have the action set pieces, you have world travel, spotlight. The default game of They Came From Classified assumes a team of spies working closely together, but it's no fun if one player gets to do all the cool stuff and everyone wants to sit back and watch. Each player should have their moment and focus on the story. We call this spotlight. This is something I do in a lot of my games. It is a pretty common technique. You can move it organically from player to player. Sometimes you might want to focus specifically on a certain player because you're focusing on their part of their backstory. I've had players reject the spotlight before indirectly, and I've talked to them about it out of game just to be sure like they wanted that to happen, and they were just too afraid of screwing up the story to they're like, yeah, we can go and visit my background, but I don't want to talk to anyone. Like, great, I guess I'll figure out something else to do then for you. And they were like, no, 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 it was fun watching other people do that. So I was like, okay, good. And that's the second part here, where you need to communicate with your players. Now, some people will say, I don't do a session 0. And that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do if everyone agrees to not do it. But usually the reason people are like agreeing not to do a session 0, at least from my experience, is because everyone already knows the limitations of everyone at the table, or at least thinks they do. So they're more comfortable not in that group space. You know that your friend isn't going to throw in the story of throw in a real world tragedy that happened to you as some form of in-game therapy without your consent. That being said, knowing your players' limitations is a safety tool. If you've played with them before, and if you're going on that information, that's being a kind person to your players. And if you're being kind to your players, that's it. You've talked about what is good for your players and what they expect. And if everyone agrees that they don't need any safety tools or anything like that, you've just used a safety tool. You've just said, okay, I gave everyone the option, or we talked about it, and now we've considered, hey, we all don't really need to use this. It's a tool. It's less of a tool, it's more of a technique, but honestly, it's semantics at that point. Failure is okay and fun. Meaningful actions. This one is something that people always tend to forget. You always want to make sure that when you're having people roll at the table, you want to make sure that the role that they're doing has a purpose to it. Sometimes you might ask them to roll just to like waste some time while you're looking at your notes, but make sure that role has a reason into it. Story path is built so that failing dice rolls and being told no comes with different rewards. So you have failure is okay, which is on the next side here, but basically sometimes just throwing in those dice and saying, hey, yeah, roll whatever, and they fail, and it was like a perception check that you didn't really know what it would be for. You can say, hey, you failed the roll, but you get momentum. That's good. So you can always fall back on that. And in any case, the first is what we call the magic of yes. At its core, it's a simple rule. If a player asks a question, the answer with yes, unless there's a compelling reason otherwise. It's easy, right? Just give the player whatever they want and it'll be fine. Okay, maybe it's not that easy. The key is the last part, unless there's a compelling reason otherwise. It's easy to tell players no, but sometimes they're fun to push back on the player's desire. So this is the type of thing of saying yes and or no but. And yes and is a common improv comedy trick, tool, technique that allows you to essentially try to always make sure that this story is continuing. Now, there's some people who are bad at improv who will pull out a gun every single time. Looking at you, Michael Scott. But you can say yes and go with it, or you can be like no but and be like, okay, the gun jammed or something like that. In this case, with role-playing games, you can say, okay, yes, you can find a fire extinguisher. Like if someone's looking for one, you can say, yes, there's a fire extinguisher. But if you think that there isn't a fire extinguisher, you can give an alternative. No, there isn't a fire extinguisher, but there is a compressed air canister or something. Could be that maybe there's something similar to what someone wanted the compressed air for, but it has a different effect on the environment, on the scene itself. Now, we do have the fail forward mechanic. People always confuse what fail forward means. They think fail forward means that you can always succeed. You can succeed regardless of failing. It's not that. It's not, oh, you try and take out the evil mastermind. You roll all your dice and you fail. Oh, you don't take him out, but he surrenders. No, that's not what it is. It's giving avenues to succeed. Maybe the villain succeeds currently, but later on he leaves himself open because he lets his guard down or something. It's tough to do, but once you get used to the idea of, yes, my players can fail a roll and maybe fail the entire mission, but there's still, like, it fails in an interesting way so as to progress the plot. So it goes from being trying to take down the evil bad guy who tried to take over the world to you are now taking down the tyrant who is ruling the world. And that's how you fail forward. You don't just fail. Anyway, thank you for listening to my rambling. There have been many of you who've been watching the stream. I applaud you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for giving me the hydrate earlier. It is very hot right now, and now my computer's telling me the temperature is going to drop tonight, so I'm not going to know what's going on later. Back at the gates. Go to Onyx PathCon June 14th. It's an online convention, so you can have it in the background while listening to it. Not a lot of it is visual. Some of it might be, I don't know. In any case, I'm going to have fun there. I'm going to be playing some Hunter. I'm going to be playing some Journey Continuum Aether. And there are going to be games like Scion Dragon and Curseborn, which someone's going to shoot me if I keep saying it too many times. Not really. That was a joke. Everything I said is my own opinion and not Onyx Path Publishing official. I thank them, though, for letting me stream on here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good one. And remember all the things I just said, because I really like everything that goes on here as far as StoryPath Ultra goes, StoryPath system that they came from, Classified it comes from. And I am saying all this because I want to get this little thing here, and I'm going to transition to the outro. Bye. We will raid some people.